Playoff time. So when the losers bracket, the playoff continues with another best of 5 series. We got Team Sven against Team Hlopaka right now in the lower bracket, which of course means that at this point it's all a question about who is going to be able to move through the lower bracket, reach the next round, and who's going to drop out of the tournament here. We have Volskaya Foundry as our first map. A big shout out to Team Sven and to Sven in particular. So he decided in favor of the map, and he was immediately faced with protests from pretty much everybody. I think the only one that probably still liked the choice is Ultralisk on the side of Team Hlopaka, who's by the way here today. Yesterday in the first matches that the team played, he was obviously absent and was replaced with a sub player. So that didn't go all that well for Team Hlopaka, but today they can fight in full force here. Ultralisk is traditionally one of the few that actually enjoys to play on Volskaya Foundry, but Sven, for some reason, has an odd affinity for that map right now and has now picked it, I believe, already 2-3 times in this tournament alone. Twice in the playoffs, for sure now. And everybody else seems to just, like, absolutely hate it. Objective normally has a pretty weak to no impact here. To be fair, the one thing that was also pointed out as the map was chosen and people talked about it, the game that they played on the first day of the playoffs on the map was not that bad. But that tells you pretty much all that you need to know about the map. That immediately when the talk sent us on Volskaya Foundry, people point out the couple of games that you can find here and there that didn't completely bore you to death. Now, I still think this is going to be an exciting one because the teams are on eye level, so this should be fun. But I would be lying if I said I wouldn't prefer this to happen, let's say, on Battlefield of Eternity, for example. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we're going to get an absolute banger now on Volskaya Foundry. And if the teams are playing aggressive and with an early Vala pick, that might exactly be what we're seeing here. It could be a pretty spicy one, just without a lot of objective use usually. But hey. If they're just brawling it out all game long, I'm totally okay with it. Objectives are a nice tool. I mean, the whole idea of having objectives in the first place is not only to make the maps a bit more interesting, but it's to make people fight for something. The problem that you have with games like League and Dota is that there's nothing really to fight for on the map. You have obviously a couple of camps that you can battle for, so that's a thing, but those are things you can let go and where you, well, the Dota and LoL fans are not going to hate me. It's easier to let that go than letting an objective go that can literally decide the game early on in your favor. Let's just put it like that. The importance is a little bit different. So if you have something to battle on from the first few minutes of the game, that's always interesting and makes it spicy. On Volskaya, the impact of the objective isn't that big, but if they decide to play an aggressive game regardless of that, then hey, then it doesn't matter anyways. So right now we get Medivh picked very early on. Medivh has actually started to skyrocket a bit in importance throughout the playoffs, and I think we are going to likely end up with Medivh bans again as we're moving closer to the finals, which shocked me if that wasn't the case here. Now, just a quick reminder before we're going into this first game and also the remainder of the series, that we have right now no draft rules. Everything's open. Classic tournament here. With Medivh chosen, they decided to ban out Stitches, which obviously makes a whole lot of sense. You avoid the kidnap combo, so no hook Gorge, and then Stitches just escapes through a portal and is able to isolate the Gorge target even further. Since they haven't picked a support yet either, if they would have gotten Stitches, they could have also added, I don't know, Tyrande, Stukov, whatever you want in order to lock someone down a little bit. I mean, even Uther works in that context quite nicely. Vala most likely going to go for an auto attack style, but honestly you can play Arrow here as well if you want to, especially since a lot of the fights, if they happen over the objective, happen on checkpoints where you don't have a lot of minions floating around, so you will be able to land a lot of arrows and stack your level 1 talent. But typically when we have something like Medivh plus another support, we are going to get Vala with auto attacks. On the blue team, Muradin and Malfurion were starting us off, and now we get Chen, which they of course love to play as well, plus Junkrat. So Chen with a couple of Keck plays, something that they can do, also helpful against the portals from Medivh. There's a decent amount, honestly, of portal control. You have Malfurion Roots now, you have Chen, and then you have Junkrat on top of that, who can also really throw a wrench into the plans of Team Hlopaka. Set a couple of traps up, just displacement in general is going to be pretty nice for them, so Medivh has to be careful with this, and the team as well as they move through the portal. With that we now have Rhaegar, and we get a Nubarak. So Nubarak as a dive tank is also going to benefit from having Medivh here. Rhaegar for some quick burst heals. And then over on the left side, we're getting our final pick. A bit more damage would be needed. Can, of course, go for triple frontline if they want to. And keep Junkrat as the only range damage dealer there. But, yeah, options. Plenty of them. Especially since we have no restrictions on the draft. But game number 1, Volskaya Foundry. We get Sergeant Hammer. I haven't seen her in a hot minute, so it's hammer time between Team Sven and Team Hlopaka. The blue team on the left, Team Sven with the captain on Chen. We got the Panda in play. Uki is playing Muradin. We got Cesarbos on Sergeant Hammer. Banana Age with Malfurion. And then Azzy is playing Junkrat. Over on the right side, well, we are getting Team Hlopaka with Ultralisk. He was missing on the first day of the playoffs. We have him today playing Medivh in game number 1. Hlopaka is playing Vala. He's trying to be a little bit cute here by delaying his level 1 choice. Death Knight on Rhaegar. We got Herath on Blaze. And Play is playing Nubarak and goes for Regeneration Master on level 1. But what about Vala here? Vala, okay, auto attacks it is. As I said before, you essentially have 2 choices here. We have some maps where you can also go into a multi-shot build, Infernal Shrines being, of course, the most typical one, but you can technically also do it on Tomb of the Spider Queen, and we have seen it there as well. But Arrow and auto attack are both totally viable here, and ho! Banana! Okay, that banana was a bit ripe and up for the taking, so they took that kill. But that is a quick first blood for them. Nicely done. So, a couple of stacks for Vala. Easy first kill. I was about to say, as I mentioned during the draft, if you go for an arrow build here, you can normally get quite a lot of stacks. Another map that is nice with an arrow build for Vala is also Powers of Doom, for example. Just simply because a lot of the fights center around the objective, which is not on the lane itself. So it makes it a bit easier to just try and hit your arrows and stack them up properly. By now on level 1 we have the advanced artillery, just saying, for Sergeant Hammer. We got our camps coming in now, so it's time for some items. The turrets get slowly locked in as Ultralisk is just easily flying around here. Fly like an eagle. On this K-Raven. Sven in style as usual with the best Chen skin that we have and the best tint coordination. The turtle, I will let that slide. For Chen, I think that's fine. The money pick would obviously be better, but you can't have it all. I'm still getting some damage at the bottom of the map thanks to Blaze, just burning everything down. Blaze, as I mentioned, the hero that has been played the most by far in this tournament, so essentially part of nearly every single game that we've seen. Vala now with Death Dealer, as you would expect, and starting to work some auto attacks in here, but only sitting at 8 right now, as Sergeant Hammer is absolutely unimpressed from what's happening, and is just sitting tight and is going for it. So they come with a portal. Very nice portal, by the way. That was a really cool action against Sergeant Hammer, and a fantastic kill. I like that a lot. So they're playing with vision, even with the portals here, just a little bit, and started to then dive behind Sergeant Hammer, as you can see right here. But that was nicely done. So really playing around the vision a little bit and diving in very, very quickly, making sure that they don't see them approaching from the flank. That takes Hammer down, and that's the second kill for Team Hlopaka as they are able to drop Cesarbos. Banana H also getting hit hard, but is able to move past the gate this time. So, totally fine here. 17 stacks now for Medivh. It's getting there. Ultralisk is doing a good job initially. We have 19 stacks for Vala. Hasn't died yet so far. That's always a win. Muradin is jumping in. And people are still using the Epstein skin. I'm just saying. Want to have some candy? So, I am definitely against this. Blizzard should finally ban it. The fact alone that Blizzard doesn't react to this skin is making me a little bit suspicious. As I said in the past, we need that list. And we need to cross-check it against some of the higher Blizzard ups. Because, again, that's a red flag for me if I've ever seen one. I mean, Muradin just still offering everybody candy and trying to lure them in a little bit just to hit them with a Storm Bolt, which essentially incapacitates them. I mean, if you don't see a pattern here, then I can't really help you, and you might be part of the problem, but I'm just saying. That list could be spicy. So, level 7 talents are kicking in. That gives us Hover Siege mode. This is where the game really begins for Sergeant Hammer. We get the Skullcracker over here too. And, yeah, Vala still working a couple of auto attacks in, the diving through the portals as well, as Ultralisk is trying to open up some additional possibilities for A, kills, B, stacks. And now they're moving in for the next set of towers up at the top. Sergeant Hammer is basically doing the same thing in the middle, and they also got the Protector. And as you might have realized, nobody dealt with the Protector. Team Hlopaka hasn't even... I mean, they didn't even try. They were just like, yeah, get it. Just, you take it, it's fine. You can have it, we don't want it. Vala could honestly try and just stack against it, I guess. But right now, we're already jumping to the top against Malfurion here. And that old geezer is a little bit of trouble, is trying to move out here, and it's like, pudding. But, Banana, he makes it out. Down at the bottom of the map, that's exactly where I wanted to see Vala, and we see exactly what I talked about. Hlopaka is just basically saying, if you give me a big and slow target, I'm going to use that. I'm going to stack. So, yeah, Vala can get some easy hits in. We have in the middle of the map still some aggression as Nuburak gets also locked down for a moment, but now with the portal they're moving back down once again. And here's already Ultralisk. He also, of course, wants some free and easy stacks, and he gets them. Vala is about to lock in her first quest reward. There's the stuns against the two frontliners. Murden jumps out, and Chen is also escaping quickly. Now, Chen went into the elusive brawler after he got the deadly strike. Going full Kung Fu Panda on us over here. As we have... still the... I mean, they could still go for the support camp. Level 10 is about to kick in for the blue team, so a bit faster on this. But we already have the turret taken down at the bottom. Actually, we don't. Death Knight took the camp, but Ultralisk has to move in to take the turret here. If somebody would have seen that from Team Sven, they might have been able to steal it away. But now we have level 10 on both sides. Muradin still teasing. Might go for Haymaker. Hasn't done it yet, and Vala is also not really deciding what she wants to do yet. We'll actually wait to see what's happening on the other end. Now we're getting Cocoon for Nuburak. And let's go. Didn't Cocoon have a different name at the beginning? I don't even remember. Like, I'm looking at Cocoon right now, and I think in my head that Cocoon initially had a different name as a talent. But I might be completely wrong here. But yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Part of me thinks that it had a different name back in the day. I mean, there were a couple of talents that were renamed. Hinterland Blast, for example, initially Shock and Awe. So there were quite a few. But I can't remember if Cocoon was one of them. Doesn't really matter too much. We still have the 2 kills only, by the way, in the game so far. And it's definitely a bit of a slower pace than what we've seen before. But right now, there we go. One of the biggest things that Blizzard has done, which always triggered me a little bit, is that they renamed the easy and the hard camp. You had your easy camp, and then you had your hard camp, and then the Council of Karens apparently started moaning a little bit and was like, oh, this is discriminatory against Siege Giants. Siege Giants are feeling as well. They aren't easy, no. They are just misunderstood and a little bit lazy, but they aren't easy, so we need to rename that into a Bruiser camp and a Siege Giant camp. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with the easy camp. You know what? Because the easy camp is easier. Banana H is apparently also easy. Well, maybe he isn't. Hlopaka was close to get a kill here, but had to rush away before Sergeant Hammer takes Vala down and removes one of the Gambit stacks on level 1, so that hasn't happened. We have now 33 stacks for Medivh. He also needs to be a little bit careful. And the shots are fired as Sergeant Hammer is starting to use the Napalm. So, Napalm time over here. But Nuburak is trying to engage again. We have plenty of items, by the way. We have so many turrets right now. And also the healing beacon, of course, that Nuburak was now finally able to take. 60 stacks for Vala. Still a chance to go maybe for Sven here. 1 stun. Follow-up, but it's a second too late. Not even a second. Half a second. The keg was already activated, and Sven is just simply kegging out. Level 13 on both sides. Bit of pressure at the top that Ultralisk shuts down initially by slowing things down with a quick ley line. So that's what we're getting first. Yeah, Nuburak still fine here. They're not fully engaging. They still have to deal with Chen in the middle of the map. Well, I might be able to use that for some added stacks. The border control attempts that we're seeing are quite nice. But at least the Nuburak got quickly out here. But you can see that every single time that the portal comes out, there's Malfurion with a root. There's a couple of traps from Junkrat, so they're really attempting to deal with the engages that we're getting from Team Hlopaka here as best as they can. Kick hit over here, and Anub is getting out too. But Medivh is now at 39 stacks, one single hit away from him grabbing a level, or completing the quest. Now that we are nearly 10 minutes into the game. Vala with the first quest reward as mentioned, hasn't died yet, so once level 16 connects, she's going to have the synergy with Manticore, which is definitely going to be a huge problem for Muradin and for Chen. Yeah, budget Gimli over here. If you go to AliExpress and order Gimli, this is what you get. Muradin is going to arrive. You get the budget version. It's not quite as good, can't jump as far. That's basically what happens. And they are trying to steal the camp away. So they're at the bottom right now, trying to steal a turret. As the defense is coming up towards the top. Nubarak trying to hide. And does so successfully, at least initially. And then Uki comes in, sees him, misses the Storm Bolt. And the dive is missed as well. At least it spawns a couple of beetles. So tower shots or fort shots are being soaked up. But here comes the real aggression right now, as they're pushing that fort down to 50% of its HP. We have Chen coming in from the side. So far, it's been the mid lane of the red team that I got attacked the most. But yeah, Chen gets the quick cocoon, and then they're getting out there. Cocoon is a little bit disgusting. How does a beetle, by the way, do that? Shouldn't that be a spider or something? I mean, if you get cocoon, honestly, my immediate impulse would be that it needs to be a spider and not like a beetle, like a... I've never seen a cockroach go anywhere and all of a sudden shoot out a web. So, yeah, goes full spider bug or whatever. But then again, we have level 16 talents now already. That gives us nature's balance. I want to see Manticore though. I want to see how exactly this is going to impact Chen and Muradin, because this might be the moment when we're going to see a little bit more damage come out. Vala is currently at a measly 12,000. It's about as much as Muradin. This is not enough. About as much as Nubarak. We need Manticore, and we're going to get it. So, here comes the push to the bottom of the map. And Sergeant Hammer is instantly dead. And look how quickly the damage of Vala actually increased now that she has Manticore. Big damage coming in. Chen is eliminated super quickly. And they're going to go for Muradin as well. So, yeah, with Manticore, they can go for Muradin unless he's able to jump out, which might be the case here. But Vala is just working it. And big root, huge root over here. The problem is that Banana Age is still not able to get away, so he gets killed. And Vala is now at 82 stacks, but as we can already tell, they not only destroyed the fort at the bottom of the map, they're doing a fantastic job also breaking through that wall at the keep. And Vala has essentially gotten another 8,000 damage in that last engage alone. So her now having the attack speed, plus also the thingy is really helping a lot. And with thingy, I mean Manticore, level 16 talent. So, Nubarak up at the front. Apparently the Nerubian lore explains the... Ultralisk! And he is ultra dead! Ultralisk is gone because Sergeant Hammer comes in with the kill. Not quite sure why Sergeant Hammer is all of a sudden Russian. If anything, we should go with a Panzer. For the Germans! Das ist gut! Medivh ist tot! Or something like that. Like, I don't know. Bird Boy would definitely not get a pass in any German army. Now, fort gone. We have, by the way, 2 about to be destroyed. At the top, they're going for the next one. We have 5 kills to 1 now. And, yep. This one is also eliminated. They're trying to jump in on Sergeant Hammer again. That didn't work out for them. But they could still get some kills here. Riptire by Junkrat. Burns down the minion wave. Alright. And here comes the Ancestral as Muradin is moving back out. And I'm telling you, Vala now at 22,000 damage. Every single fight that we get, she gets big damage in because of Manticore and the attack speed. So as she adds more stacks to her level 1, this is of course going to increase. So it's going to be pretty decent for her. But for now, we have some really nice aggression on the side of Team Hlopaka. They are starting to push this a bit further. And they need to, because structurally they've fallen behind. They've lost 2 of their forts now. They are a bit ahead in experience at least, so that's a nice plus. The quest for Nubarak has also been completed, so it means that he's more tanky, which is also a nice boon now. It's going to help in the team fights a lot. And Sergeant Hammer went, by the way, into Executioner here. So, not Giant Killer against the lineup that we're seeing for Team Hlopaka. Executioner was instead the choice. And Deathknight is already helping out to defend the camp, as Blaze is the only one that is split from the team, so they're just 4-manning the top. And Medivh setting a few portals up and just flies around here. Honestly, like, what is even the APM on those guys? Because Medivh... Oh yeah, calm the hell down, Ultralist. 221 APM on Medivh just because he right-clicks every 30 seconds into a different location. I mean, that's definitely not quite correct. He's in Raven form. Dude, how are you sitting at 250 APM when you're in Raven form? It's like, seriously, like, chill on that mouse clicking a little bit. Like, one click is enough. The hero will move. You don't have to, like, murder that button. That poor mouse is getting absolutely destroyed over here. Now at least we have him also dropping a couple of spells on him. So that's a lot more reasonable. Look over at play. Average APM of 136. That's how you do it. Malfurion is less than 100. It's the Frenchies. Look at those lazy Frenchies. Both of them. No APM whatsoever. Huh. We gotta monitor that in the future. Or maybe it's just the French. They're like sitting there, sipping a little bit of wine, eating a baguette, and totally chill. The ley line again, as the blue team is trying to chase them down here, though. Starting to make their play. The Ancestral is out, and Vala. One auto attack after another, just working them down. As Banana Age, we're gonna check again. Yeah, he's still sipping his wine and eating his baguette here. Look at this. No APM at all. Like, he's efficient, you know? You would think it's the Germans because they like the efficiency. But then you look at Ultralisk and his APM is spiraling out of control. There's no efficiency whatsoever. So many useless clicks, it's kind of crazy. And then you look at the French and their efficiency, of course, is also completely far gone. But they have, I mean, they've taken a chill pill or two. Both of the French players. But right now, Muradin's jumping out. Uki might be in trouble. They're trying to go, of course, for the core here. So they're really starting to push. With Chen gone, they thought they had a chance to not go for the core directly, but hope to force another kill against the defenders and then go for the core. It hasn't quite worked out. But now we have the push towards the middle as they're trying to get another fort here. Or at least kill this a bit. Over there on the right side, yeah, already falling back a little bit, but we also need to check up on Vala. She's on 34,000 damage. She's going to be top damage in the game in a moment. Sergeant Hammer, on the other hand, 60,000. That's where we're at. Now, to be fair to the APM spammers over here, I mean, I have APM videos on my YouTube channel where I recorded Korean pros in the past playing RTS, and it's actually kind of funny. Those are by far the most popular videos on my YouTube channel. Not really because... mostly as a curiosity, you know, they get shared every now and then because somebody's like, hey, look at these crazy Koreans, and they just share it around. And that's why every couple of weeks I get comments on those old YouTube videos where people are just like saying, he's not doing anything, he's not doing anything. But in RTS, you want to keep your APM high because you're trying to keep it on a high level so that when you really need to spike your APM in a big teamfight situation, sorry, not teamfight, in a big battle, you don't have to, like, you know, spike it up and down. And the theory behind it is that it's just much easier to keep it on a high level throughout the game instead of having to spike it. But this is not an RTS game. You're not controlling an army. You're controlling one hero. Can be a little bit more efficient in the way that you're playing this out. Just saying here. But yeah, either way. If you haven't seen those APM videos, I can highly recommend them. There's a playlist on the YouTube channel. You should definitely check that out if you haven't seen them yet. It's pretty impressive, especially when you're looking at Luzira or Sound. Those two are absolutely crazy and are probably the most watched of all of them. 6 kills to 1, Team Hlopaka. Again, first game of the best of 5 series. But we knew that Volskaya would take a bit longer. Now Sergeant Hammer gets killed. They dropped the tank. They're still trying to go for Muradin. They dropped the second one as well. But Vala's a little bit low. Gets a shield. Chen wanted that kill, but she still hasn't died yet. They haven't gotten a kill against Chen, which means that he is still on... sorry, against... they haven't gotten a kill against Vala, which means she's still at full attack speed. And now that we also have her, of course, with Farfly Quiver, it makes her even more dangerous. At least the Nubarok was now killed, but that was only the second kill for the blue team against Team Hlopaka. Team Sven, they picked them up, but it's not really working for them so far. Mala is by now at 46,000 damage. Junkrat is at 69,000 on the dot. Nice. And they just want to come in and steal it away. Ultralisk already saw all of it. And he's just like, boys, they're bluffing. They're bluffing! Don't believe them. We're fine. I got your back. I'm Raven Boy. And I'm gonna make this happen. Okay, Chen is also rushing around here. If we would give heroes nicknames, I mean, what would it be if we didn't know what they're called? Chen would be obviously Kung Fu Panda. That's just low-hanging fruit. Murden is Budget Gimli. Rhaegar's Wolf Boy. Vala is Red Riding Hood. Blaze is Budget Iron Man, maybe? I mean, that suit is not really sleek, so I guess we're gonna go for something else here. Yeah, Malfurion is Reindeer Boy or something along those lines. And Junkrat, what do we call Junkrat? He's somebody that's a favoring grenade launcher or something. Mr. Boombastic. Could be kind of fun too. We need to come up with a couple of alternative names for all of the heroes and then just follow up with it for a full game. Ultra Capacitors for Sergeant Hammer. Haven't really pointed that out yet, but again, standard talents. No real surprises on level 20. We got also Rewind for Nubarak as they're starting to dive in from the sides once more. We've seen this a few times against Cesar Boss and Sergeant Hammer now. But the blue team is fairly defensive with their posturing on the map. And yeah. Sergeant Hammer, we call her Kaboom. Or maybe Junkrat would be Kaboom. That would be a great name. By the way, just as a side note, this is the second objective. Just saying, we're 21 minutes in and absolutely nobody cares. It's like, protect who? Yeah, so the protector, not taken by anybody. The objective up there is all alone, nobody cares. Maybe Play is now making a move in, but I highly doubt that it's going to be used at all. The first one was still something where they said like, yeah, we might as well. Starting with the second one, everybody was like, nah, not interested. So, yeah, we don't care. Chen, again, trying to go for Vala. That didn't work out. Instead, now aiming for Nubarak. There's the ley line. All right. Nubarak, does he get the cooldown back? Should also have Rewind still up, no? Ancestral Healing, and they're still able to save it. Everybody gets pushed back again. Malfurion just flying around here with his Tranquility now dropped. With the Serenity. And they are meeting Junkrat, and he gets deleted. Murdered. As Vala adds more stacks, more damage, and is about to get another quest reward on level 1 as well. Sitting at 61,000 damage right now. So yeah, she is catching up with damage massively. And they are doing an enormous amount of work with her right now. Farfly Quiver, obviously, exceptionally helpful. But once that she moves into 200 stack, she also gets a bit more damage on every single auto attack. And then still has a bit farther to go if she fully wants to complete this. Might actually see that happen in that game, depending on how long this lasts. But they're getting real nice damage here. And Murden gets also completely murdered. Murden is just gone. No chance there. Vala just kept going, one auto attack after another. And she's now past 200 stacks, so that's another quest reward for her. And they're coming in for Chen with another stun. Sergeant Hammer goes down first. Now only 2 defenders left. The portals are there. Banana is not down yet, but woof, gets killed by Vala. And now it's only Chen that is still alive, and Sven is not going to make it either. So that's a 5-man team wipe. Junkrat is already back. Not that it really matters. They go for the core. And Team Hlopaka is punishing Team Sven for the map pick. And just simply comes in and says like, boys, you chose Volskaya and you need to be punished. You need to suffer. Suffer. So they're actually farming heroes for now. But yeah, they end the game. We're 23 minutes in. Vala hasn't died yet. Absolutely crushing it. We got 13 kills to 2 right now. With Team Hlopaka taking an easy lead in the first best of 5 series of the day here in the losers bracket of the Captain's Clash. Nicely done. GG! And well played. We're going to head in game number 2 in a second. Guys, if you enjoy the content, if you like the coverage here, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. It really helps to spread the videos to people that were interested in Heroes of the Storm in the past and might rejoin the game. So spread the love a little bit, help to promote the games here, like and subscribe, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of the series. So, we go to Garden of Terror next. We have an actual map with an objective all of a sudden after Volskaya Foundry. I want to use this opportunity again to thank Sven in particular for the first map choice, as have many of the players. Ehre wem Ehre gebührt. But let's see what we're getting here for map number 2. Hlopaka's team is in the lead, and honestly, the last game was, I mean, fairly clean. They protected Vala throughout the entire game. We had a lot of focus on Medivh here, and it worked very, very well. I would think that Medivh will see a few bans throughout the series, but we are in the second game of the best of 5 right now. Team Sven bans out Maiev against Ultralisk. This is obviously one of the big changes compared to the first day where Team Hlopaka played in the playoffs, that now they have the actual lineup. They have Ultralisk here, and here comes the Medivh ban as already expected. So Ultralisk gets directly targeted with 2 bans initially from Team Sven. Garden of Terror is also a fairly big map where technically you could go into some kind of Viking play. Sylvanas gets chosen too. And Sylvanas is also an interesting one because she has had some very nice success as well when we're talking just about her win rate and how much she was picked. So yeah, there was a lot that happened on that account too. Sylvanas is roughly at a 70% win rate so far. But with that, we got Dehaka and Rega. Okay, that's where we're setting things up with. Dehaka for the side lane. Again, it's Garden of Terror. Normally you would think either Dehaka or Blaze are going to be taken. You could also go for Hogger. So in this case, right now, we have the chance for Team Hlopaka to pick either one of the two. They go for Blaze. We've actually seen triple frontlines too, where they went for Blaze and for Hogger, but I think we're going to leave it at one side laner for now. We get Death Knight on Malfurion on the other hand. We talked about Malfurion a lot in the context of Team Disciple and Scorch picking the hero, where a lot of teams have started to pick it away from them. But Malfurion, just generally speaking, not only in the hands of Scorch, is actually super powerful and has a huge win rate. After Blaze, he is the second most played character in this tournament. So seeing Malfurion here again makes perfect sense. Johanna is banned. I talked about Johanna a bit and her stats the other day. She's also very, very successful. And she's always been a fantastic tank. I mean, honestly, Jojo, relatively easy to play compared to some other tanks. And has a huge impact with the wave clear that she offers, with the CC that she brings. The interrupt potential on objectives that you get too. So, fantastic choice for the front line no matter what. But what is Team Hlopaka now going to get rid of? They have chosen Sylvanas initially. With Dehaka already on the side of Team Sven, they are trying to get rid of Falstad, so there is no double global that gets played by the blue team. That is definitely going to help them a bit to fall not too far behind on the macro. It's already going to be annoying enough to deal with Dehaka if you don't have any globals whatsoever, but if you're then going up against Dehaka and Falstad, then they can really just run the side lanes against you like crazy. So here comes Muradin as a quick pick. We got Thrall. Thrall, probably the hero that has seen the biggest resurgence in this tournament. Lots of Thrall picks. We get a triple front line for Team Sven. And what is Team Hlopaka now going to add? Not only for their first pick. Play has been played a lot of Muradin. He's played also a lot of Jojo. But they have to deviate away from this. And we're still waiting for what exactly Ultralisk is going to do now that his Maiev and his Medivh were both banned. We get Arthas, nice, and Malthael, so triple frontline on both sides. I like these Arthas picks that we're seeing. Arthas has a special place in my heart. He might not be the most impactful tank, but just the fact alone that we see him a bit more often these days is awesome. I really like that. Now, final pick for Azzy on the blue team side as we're heading into Garden of Terror. Team Sven trying to tie the series after initially losing on the first map, Volskaya Foundry. And for game number 2, we get, as the range damage, Greymane. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Team Sven against Team Hlopaka. Blue team on the left with Sven, the captain on the Haka. Oh, captain, my captain. Banana H is playing Rhaegar. We got Uki and Murden. Azzy on Greymane with Viciousness on level 1. And Sesabos is playing Thrall. Over on the right side, Team Hlopaka with Death Knight on Malfurion, the red team in the lead in the Best of 5 series. We got Hereth on Blaze. Ultralisk is playing Malthael with Death's Reach. We got Hlopaka on Sylvanas and Play on Arthas with Rhyme on level 1. Also, I want to give a shout out right here to XYP Games. I've been talking in the previous game a little bit about Nuburak and Cocoon, and at some point I said, like, Cocoon was renamed because I thought there was something in the past where Cocoon had a different name at some point. I was actually talking about this a little bit. And I had a few of the Twitch sleuths then start to scour the internet and try to find out what was going on here. Some of them were not successful in finding anything. And I was like, might have been before game release. I played since alpha. I could have sworn that it had a different name, but maybe I'm wrong. And you actually found out that it was called Web Blast initially. And that definitely rang a bell. So yes, Cocoon got renamed. It was called Web Blast when the hero was released. No Nuburak over here though, but what they're trying to blast away is Death Knight, and well, they get him. Malfurion is a goner. There's also a lick on Arthas. Honestly, if that is not something that could be right out of Dumb and Dumber, then I don't know. If you come in with the Haka and you lick Arthas, I mean, that's a Frost play right there. It was a joke in the making somewhere. But Sven now also with the Bumblebee skin. Still the best skin. I personally prefer the yellow tint, but this one is not too bad either. So, yep. Arthas. I like Arthas. It's probably because I've been playing the game since Alpha. And back then, Arthas was just like one of the main characters in general. And obviously with the Warcraft 3 background, Arthas has a special place in my heart, just in general. So the fact that we see him a bit more often these days is pretty cool. And if you go up against somebody like Greymane, then of course you can also start controlling the auto attacks very nicely with the Frozen Tempest there. So a lot of cool stuff that you can do with it. As a frontliner, he has a lot of problems right now compared to alternatives, but he can offer a lot depending on your team composition and what you're trying to do. Not really a hero that gets played frequently, but it's nice to see him picked occasionally here. I'm totally happy, by the way, with a few characters, a few heroes just being real niche heroes that still have a place and get occasionally picked very rarely. That's pretty nice. Talking about that. They steal the camp. Nice, Rhaegar. Look at you. Little doggy. Big plays right there. Nicely done. Rhaegar comes in, but, well, after he steals the camp, we now get Murden totally demolished over here. So, yep, there's pretty much that. You know, Rhaegar, he's a real dog. He's not one of those little yappy things. Actually, in my personal opinion, one of the reasons why small dogs are always so yappy and absolutely annoying that everybody hates them, and rightfully so. Oh, Malfurion. That's the second time that he dies. Now, just as a disclaimer, a real dog starts roughly on knee height. There's a couple of exceptions, but generally speaking, roughly at the height of your knees, that's where a real dog starts. Everything that is smaller than that is just like a poor excuse for an oversized cat, in my opinion. But one of the reasons why all of these yappy little things are just yapping all day long is fairly easy. They are... Ooh, Rhaegar is gone. Talking about dead doggies. Oh, 8 hit points, and he made it! What? Damn, son. As he gets out with 8 hit points. Good stuff. They might kill... Yeah, well, they killed Thrall. Sylvanas just says, I don't care if I die, but I'm going to get that kill. And Hlopaka is able to get out, so good for him. So lots of stuff happening here. First of all, we had the escape from Azzy, who got out with 8 HP at some point. Then we had the jump on Thrall and the kill, and Sylvanas even got out. So yes, nicely done. But as I was about to say, one of the main reasons why I think that a lot of these smaller dogs are just yapping around all day is very easy to explain, because they've never been trained. If you don't train a big dog, it's going to be a problem for you, because once that you have it on a leash, it's going to drag you from one end of the street to the next, and you're just going to run after it 6 days to Sunday. If you have a small dog that isn't trained, you can just simply drag it around the entire time because it's weaker than you. So a lot of the small dogs, owners that are just absolutely irresponsible, don't train those dogs whatsoever, and that's why they're yapping around all day long, because they can get away with everything, since the owners said like, oh, it's so small and cute, and well, if it doesn't follow, I can just drag it along, so not really a problem. Try that with a big dog, and you're very quickly being shown who the real boss is in the pack. So you need to train the big ones, and that's why they're usually a little bit better on that end. So, yeah. That is maybe an unpopular opinion, but I honestly think there's a kernel of truth to it. Either way, before all the cat people are not getting angry. In my personal defense, by the way, when I grew up, we had cats and we had dogs. So, probably leaning a little bit more into Camp Doggy. But, I mean, there's even a style that was named after them. Have you ever heard of cat style? Nope. Doggy style? Everybody has heard of that. So, just saying. Clearly better. Just objectively speaking already. But cats are cool, dude. So, level 10 is in, but they still lost place here. Now it seems like it might be the end of Sylvanas after all, and she dodges out on this. Nicely done. So, level 10 needs to kick in for the red team as well. But before that happens, we have another kill. It's Arthur that goes down. So, yeah, he was not quick enough to make it out of that little fight. Situation on the map, though, is still pretty similar. The kill count, it's 4-3. We have Haymaker now for Muradin. We're getting Thrall, I would assume with Sundering, but maybe he's just hiding Earthquake here. Nope, Sundering it is. And on the other side, of course, by now, we get Last Rites here for Malthael. So, Last Rites is in. And let's see if they're able to grab themselves a couple of stacks and cooldown reduction points. Thrall is also still trying to get his stacks for level 4. So he's working on that as we speak. The wolf pack is active up at the top left and is coming in for the next move over here. Trying to take down the siege giants. Nice. Camp is gone. I suppose that this time they're going to hold on to it, but maybe I'm wrong because the blue team is invading now. But that's a fight that they're willing to go for. Last Rites, not used yet. And the Ancestral is out. Ultralis was holding this back for a long, long time, but then he gets hit by the Haka's ult and dies. He actually played it smart. He tried to hold his Last Rites back because he knew that Rhaegar still had an Ancestral, so he didn't want to risk anything there. Once that Ancestral was out, they were trying to connect the Last Rites, but then he gets hit by Isolation, and all of a sudden there's no opportunity for him anymore to do anything, and that is the end of Malthael. The aspect of death gets deaded very quickly here. 5 kills to 3 now, and we have 1 seat on each side, with Thrall now completing his quest. Good for him. Yeah, damage output so far, we got 21,000 for Sylvanas. Absolute top dog in the game. As for the blue team, it is Thrall at 15,000. That is currently looking pretty decent. Banana Age down at the bottom of the map, still going for a quick tap before they're heading into the next objective fight, or maybe not, because the red team was just a little bit faster and was able to sneak that one in. So, yeah, there it is. Now, at the same time, we're now having the Spirit Shield for Thrall. And all the way up at the top, Blaze is running his mounted little tiger ragged. Peter should be informed, honestly. I mean, you have a full armor on and then these poor mounts. You need like a motorcycle or something, but using animals for that is just not okay. Breaking their back there as we speak. Nice escape by Sylvanas once again. And I gotta say that Hlopaka is actually doing a pretty good job not getting killed here. That probably just cursed him and is going to die in a second, but that aside for just a moment, he's been doing a very, very nice job just getting kills himself and really playing it to the edge and escaping just before they turn on him. There's more than a level lead now, though, for Team Sven. They are capitalizing on the global abilities of the Haka, but at least for the next fight, we have even talents, and the spawn position is slightly better for the red team, so there's a chance that they're going to get the Garden Terrors now. And if they do, maybe they can snowball this game a bit. With Greymane and Thrall both down at the bottom of the map, they are also letting this one go for free. So it's Garden Terror time. The lanes are not pushed out too much, so should be okay for the defense. But here comes the move now. We get for Arthas the Biting Cold, by the way. And this is the, actually connects the Howling Blast, my bad. And here comes Syndragosa again. Yeah, Sundering though is a bit of a counter after they're trying to collapse onto the targets. Don't get too much done with that. Bottom fort, the Web Weaver, the Garden Terror is very likely going to take that one out. Top side gets defended by the Haka. But at the bottom of the map, I think that fort is gone. And if they can take the one in the middle out as well, that would put Team Hlopaka in a position where they're heavily ahead in structures. So now we have two of them rotating down to the bottom of the map to deal with the objective there. But as it turns out, they're slightly too late, and the rotation is now slowly happening. Last rights, not enough. Forces Muradin back, but wasn't a kill. Now, one level ahead still for Team Sven, but this might change now, that since we have the increase in passive experience for the red team. Getting those two forts destroyed is definitely a big step forward to them closing the gap a bit. Play... Yeah. The problem is that level 16 will soon be ready for Team Sven, and you don't really want to be around for that fight after that. 21,000 for Thrall, and we got 25,000 for Sylvanas. So, by the way, it's one of the funny things, and I mean, obviously, people are always different. But it's just highly amusing to me what people always complain about, and every now and then I bring that in, especially through YouTube comments. And the other day I had a comment on YouTube. It was actually, it started on Twitch when we had Team Low APM in the Underdog Cup. People were saying like, hey, you need to show their APM a little bit because they're called low APM, so we need to kind of put that in as a bit of a talking point too and make a bit of fun out of it. So I was like, well, yeah, I can every now and then show the APM here. You know, it's like nothing really game-breaking, but it's sometimes a bit interesting to see on certain heroes by certain players how that plays out. Nothing too crazy, but still. And then the second that I started showing it once or twice, I had immediately someone complain on YouTube about it and say like, I don't want to see this, why are you doing this, it's just wasting time, this is not important. So it's honestly always the same thing. You can't please anyone. People want one thing, you provide it, and then a moment later they're complaining about it. It's just like, oh, it's so tedious. You have absolutely no idea. But, yeah. At this point, I think it's sometimes quite amusing to see the big difference between what we have in APM numbers, especially when you're looking at former RTS players and then you compare it to somebody that hasn't played nothing but MOBAs in their life. Moonlit Harmony is in. And I honestly suppose that on the lower level, it might actually also give you some interesting information, because positioning and mechanics in general is something that a lot of lower level players usually lack. So those average numbers can sometimes help you to identify some issues. And mechanics are oftentimes a problem, like stutter stepping and a lot of those things that you as an RTS player basically learn super early on are for a lot of MOBA players or something that they are not immediately familiar with. Nice Sundering for the interrupt. They're trying to go for the fight here. Big Ancestral, but Uki is low, and here comes Syndragosa, slowing them down massively. Team Hlopaka again with the aggression right there. They want to go for the Haka. Last rights, and the Haka is gone. Didn't have his burrow available anymore, so that is the first stack for Malthael. And they're also about to grab themselves another seed, but that's of course not where they stops. With Sylvanas, they can now move in and take down the wall at the bottom keep. And who knows, maybe damage this keep as well. So, yeah, if they can get another kill here, that would be even better, but it's not them who gets a kill. They are losing one of their heroes as Blaze gets targeted and murdered. Turnaround on Muradin. Malthael, yeah, still 30 seconds until he has his ult back up. He would absolutely love to have last rights ready again in that encounter, because that was a target-rich environment for sure. So we got 35,000 now for Thrall, we got 40,000 for Sylvanas on the damage numbers. Malfurion with 8,300. Fairly low here. And Muradin is jumping around the map, hoping to get close enough for another Stormbolt connect, which wasn't really the case here. But there's the Haymaker, and they steal the camp. That was neat, I like that. But now they go for Ultralisk, and he is ultra dead. And he's not the only one. It seems like Arthas is also going to fall, so very aggressive play from Team Sven, and it absolutely pays off for the team. They're able to steal the Siege Giants away, they get a double kill out of it. Most of the front line is now gone, and that is solid. So right now, Muradin jumping around quickly all the way up at the top. We already got Hirath sitting tight. Greymane, the only one that hasn't died yet, by the way, on the blue team side. But now that they're destroying the fort at the bottom of the map, they're finally able to catch up a bit more in structures. The top fort has gone too. So I guess still a lead for the blue team. Sorry, for the red team in structures. They have destroyed all the forts. But the blue team is now starting to catch up again. Embrace Death. Level 16 with the Moonlit Harmony over here, and it's another Siege Giant camp that is being taken down. And some catapults in the middle as well. Yeah, just with level 20 that they already have. It's a 2-level gap right now. We got Tooth and Claw, the Farseer's Blessing is in, and we also have a World Breaker. So the big problem is, of course, now to bridge that gap. Especially with 2 seeds to 1, Team Sven is very likely going to be able to fight for a seed while we have no Storm Talons for Team Hlopaka. Now, the interesting part is that it is down here. So this position is way better for the red team, just generally speaking, because they still have a fountain in the middle of the map. Can you bridge the experience gap here in time, though? Yeah, let's just face it, that's a nope. So, push at the top for the keep. This keep is likely going to be taken out if they don't hearth back immediately, and it doesn't really look like they do. Instead, we're going to see them move for the Bruiser camp. But that's a free keep at the top. So that one's out, and you got to be a bit careful here, because they might just go for the core. They got Greymane. Greymane, Rhaegar, Thrall. If you give them too much leeway here, especially with the camp that they also have, then they will try and take advantage of that. The damage output in game number 2, we still have Sylvanas on the top spot with 47,000. Malthael comes in as second with 42,000. Thrall at 40k. And now it's time for the seed to be claimed, and that is Garden Terrors. You might be able to interrupt this a little bit, but I don't think, well, maybe long enough for levels 20 talents. You know what? Maybe they can actually fight for this. There is also this push at the bottom of the map for the keep, so that's a bit of a problem. If they can interrupt Rhaegar just once, and they can, and now they have level 20, here comes Syndragosa, and they will fight for it. So Arthas is pushing into the choke point, Isolation connecting with 2. They are trying to go for Arthas right now. The Ancestral is already out, maybe a little bit too early. Here's the World Breaker gets used too. Bunker is being utilized, and Malthael is dead again. Ultralisk is ultra dead. But Dehaka has also fallen. They're turning it on Blaze, though, and he goes down too, so that's 2 heroes gone. And also gone is the keep at the bottom of the map, as already mentioned. So that's a keep destroyed for free. And in the 4 versus 4 situation over here, we're having them go for the next seed. And this is a little bit of a weird one now, because Team Sven is falling behind because of all of this. They have taken, or they had, initially they took a lead by destroying the keep up at the top, but now they weren't able to get their objective, and they lost a keep as well. So that's the problem. 10 kills to 5 though, but they're coming in again. Malthael is here, and gets... Ultralisk is just getting farmed at this point. I mean, I'm sorry, that's 4 deaths on him. He's just jumping in a little bit too aggressively. Obviously, you are a melee. You want to be in the thick of things. But he gets focused on so quickly, and he just can't do anything against these CC chains that are hitting him that hard. And one of the problems is that Last Rites is a huge finisher for them, and it's just missing in every single team fight because he dies too quickly. He has a single stack, that's just not enough. If you are able to utilize Last Rites a little bit better after we've seen all that AoE damage come in from the rest of the team, you should be able to net either a few kills or at least force some important cooldowns on the blue team side, and so far it's not working. Earlier on he could just simply buy back with no one can stop death, but here it gets now a bit difficult. And of course, since they don't have Malthael here, they have to give up the seed, and therefore we have the objective, the first one, for the blue team now traveling through the lanes. Defense should be pretty straightforward on some of them. I mean, top is also going to go for the core directly, so I don't see... They might actually... It seems like they're going to try and push with this. Blaze is also getting hit hard, and even with Bunker already used, Tirith is in trouble and gets killed. Okay, this could be game now. Team Sven has a big opportunity here, especially now that they take Malfurion down. I mean, that is game. That's just flat out game. Right now, oh, the counter kills. Greymane is gone. That's a game changer. Rhaegar is gone. All right. Ultralisk is redeeming himself for the deaths earlier. They get 2 kills, but they lose Arthas. And Sylvanas is able to make it out. What about Malthael? He's also trying to waste that time a little bit more, but Malthael gets killed too. That leaves only Sylvanas as a defender. And I guess with 3 heroes still standing for Team Sven, I'm not so sure what's going to happen here. The Siege Giants are going for the core. If those didn't exist here, that would be a different story. But now it's a 5-man wipe as Sylvanas gets destroyed. And, well, the series is tied. Nicely done. 16 kills to 7 as Team Sven takes the victory on Garden of Terror. And we are heading to game number 3 of the best of 5 series here at the losers bracket of the Captain's Clash. GG. Coming up next, we have game number 3 for you guys. Before we go, a big shout out to everybody that is supporting the channel on patreon.com/Khaldor. Really appreciate the support, guys. Thank you very, very much. If you want to support the channel, if you want to support our efforts to keep the Heroes of the Storm esports scene live with all of the events and tournaments that we're hosting, then please consider to check out patreon.com/Khaldor and support the channel there. It's the best way to support all of the things that we're currently doing for the scene and plan to do in the future. With that being said, enjoy the next game of the series. Battlefield of Eternity! And well, as we're going into the draft, the one topic that has popped up between the games is Wasps. Hate them or love them. I honestly don't understand why some people seem to think that Wasps need to be protected. I don't even understand how the topic came up. Because I think I had a couple of Wasps in the area. Hate Wasps with a passion. Wasps are probably the insect that I hate the most next to mosquitoes. I think I hate them more than mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are a little bit easier to kill, and honestly, they just annoy you and it itches, but wasps are fairly annoying. And I found out the other day that wasps are protected in a lot of countries, especially in Europe, and I, for the life of it, cannot understand why. Apparently, if you kill wasps, especially when you're taking out a wasp nest, that is illegal and you can get fined a huge amount in a lot of countries, and I don't get why. If all the wasps would disappear tomorrow, fantastic. Protect the bees. Protect even the hornets. Protect the stuff that is like rare, but wasps are everywhere, especially in the summer. They are annoying, they're aggressive, and they're just like, ugh, in general. Now, committing complete wasp genocide might not be the best idea. I understand that they can be useful and are part of the entire circle and things like that. But can we maybe like push them into the areas where humans don't live? So yeah, there's a couple of species that if they are getting crushed right now, I would not shed a tear. Bees, big fan. Wasps, not so much. And this is actually for the YouTube video. I already mentioned this on my Twitch stream. But my birthday was a couple of days ago. I went on a bike ride in the morning. I had a wasp fly into my helmet and sting me right there on my head. Not a fan. Wasps. Hail the bees. Kill the wasps. Crazy stuff. Seems like it's a little bit of a Vala thing right now. Because now we got Azzy with a quick pick. Keep in mind that on Volskaya we had a Vala pick very early on for Team Hlopaka. And now Sven goes back to one of his standard picks. Comes in with Samuro. Interesting also to note that Uki is actually the one to pick Uther here. Now you can always try and fake your opponent out a bit and just like say, hey, we are trying to get an Uther main tank. But considering that they're playing Vala, it stands to reason that this is actually an Uther main tank and that they're going to add a second support after that. Now, we got Chen and we got Sylvanas on the right side. And now that I'm thinking about Wasps, honestly, the one thing that would probably make me hate Brightwing even more than I already do is if Brightwing had a Wasp skin. Yeah. And then just runs around, friend, friend, friend. It's like, blah. Slap that fruit fly. So, Varian gets banned. That's an interesting ban. They were worried about Varian, Uther, Samuro. They must know something that I don't. Maybe it was played in scrims, but honestly, I look at this and I'm just like, why on earth would you ban Varian? Are they trying to play Tracer and are a bit worried that they are running into a taunt? And after Varian got banned, they banned Malfurion. They must have the exact same thought process here. They see a Varian ban, they're like, why would you ban Varian? It's like, okay, you want to play Tracer, so we ban Malfurion because Malfurion is good with Tracer. So, little bit weird. Deckard and Garrosh are now the picks. Well, so we get Garrosh plus Chen. Deckard Kane for a bit more control. I mean, it's BOE. But over on the left... let's see what we're going to get here. We got... I mean, I still expect a second support. I think Uther is going to be the main tank. With everything that they picked so far, that has to be the case, right? Thrall... Nope, we're getting Uther as a solo heal for them with Thrall and Myrden. So they go double Orc now in that triple front line with Myrden added. And over on the right side, we got Ultralisk with the final pick. Alright, so again, this is a little bit of a fake out that you can do if you are picking Uther with the main tank quickly, because Uther got played as a main tank a lot. But with that now, we got Alarak. Nice. Okay, that spices things up a bit for game number 3. Ladies and gentlemen, third map in the best of 5 series. Let's check out which team is going to be successful here on Battlefield of Eternity. Game number 3, we get Team Sven on the left in blue with Banana H on Uther. We got Uki on Myrden, Cesabos on Thrall, Sven is playing Samuro, and Azzy on Vala. Over on the right side of the map, we got, yeah, arrow build. Again, you can play that obviously on Battlefield of Eternity, but we've still seen way more order attack style on this level of play. But if you're focusing on the Immortal and of course going for the arrow build makes way more sense. Team Hlopaka with the captain himself on Sylvanas. We get Ultralisk on Alarak with the extended lightning. We got Death Knight on Deckard Kane, Herath on Chen, and Play on Garrosh. Alright. And apparently my entire Wasp rant has also triggered a little bit of a discussion here. So from the looks of it, I'm not quite sure if this is true or not, but Hornets are actually classified as Wasps. I don't care. They're the chill variation. First of all, they're a lot more rare. Like, how often do you see a Hornet? If we're not talking about like the US where you have like killer Hornets or something, I've seen a couple of Hornets in my life. If I see 1 or 2 during a summer, then that's already quite a bit. Wasps, all day, every day, everywhere. Annoying. Bleh. And they're way more aggressive. Most of the Hornets that I've seen, they are just single Hornets, chilling. They're basically the bumblebee of Hornets. That's what they are. Wasps, on the other hand, somebody compared to mosquitoes earlier in that family, and I can totally understand that because mosquitoes are also mega annoying and just like aggressive flying around, and they got it out for you. Very, very annoying. But, yeah. Anyways, so with that, we already have up at the top. We got Chen all alone against Samuro, and so far Herath has not really had the best time there. But we now have Ultralisk coming in to try and help him out a little bit. I love, by the way, that he went for exactly this build. I always hate it when you're seeing Alarak being played and then he doesn't go for the extended lightning build where you just start stacking it up with your level 4 talent. And sadism, of course. Vala also with stacks right there, coming in with 4 early on. But this seems to be a kill on Thrall. Thrall indeed is down, so yeah, not bad. And down at the bottom of the map, it's now the question of whether or not they're going and take that camp. Now, Banana H has, I think, made a critical mount error. I have to confirm again once that he mounts up, but especially as a French player, I would be a little bit careful on this one. Maybe the Donald approves, but generally speaking, there's a lot to say here. Now, Samuro is still up at the top. Down here, trying to throw them out, but they're going to take that camp, and Play needs to be careful that he doesn't get killed. And he stayed way too long and gets nearly taken out. So, there it is. The yellow snowflake. Guys, again, if you learn anything here, then please don't play in yellow snow. And especially, whatever you do, don't lick yellow snow. So riding on a yellow snowflake, huge mistake here from Banana Age. Yeah, I'm sorry, but if you're lucky, a dog peed on it. If you're unlucky, it was somebody else. So, yeah, either way, not really a good choice here. There's a couple of too many different vibes. We have Uki on the Epstein skin, then we have the yellow snowflake over here. I see that P-tape being released anytime, any day now. So, too many red flags already in this game. And I know this is a bit distracting from the actual heroes action that's currently going on here. But somebody has to call it out, and these are all the things that Blizzard doesn't want you to know. And then we have 2 guys that are riding a golden cock here. So, I mean, again, it's in your face right now. So what do you want me to say? Anyways, first objective is up. We have a little bit of a push coming through the top lane right now with Sylvanas, capitalizing on her power to enhance these pushes a bit more. And honestly, nobody's really dealing with this. And the objective is not being played for it either. So they attacked it at least a bit at the start, but now the entire wall is already gone. So that's quite nice. And with that, the stack... Oh, by the way, they completed the entire thing. All right. Extended Lightning is fully completed. That was mega early, and that's fantastic for Ultralisk. Going to really help him. 103 Sadism already, and then on top of that, we're having 10 stacks already for Alarak. Yeah, Alarak is going to have a fun one here. I think that Ultralisk is going to have a real nice game if he continues that pace towards the late game. On the first objective, with Vala not having access to a level 7 yet, we'll see how things go. But currently, we have Banana Age in trouble, and he's down. Banana's eliminated. Play gets attacked. Oh, Samuro goes down too. Team Hlopaka got a little bit angry on the last game, didn't they? After losing there, they are going ham on them now. Erath jumps in, they try and go for Vala, and they drop her. So Vala is dead, they go for Muradin, and he's also eliminated. That's 5 kills to 0. Big stacks for Alarak, and he went straight into the applied force here. But they're also going to get the objective. And Sylvanas is pushing the next wave. At the bottom of the map this time, straight for the fort. Not a good start. Not at all for Team Sven. This is about as rough as it gets. Now, the objective hasn't been won yet. And this entire battle has lasted so long that Vala now has level 7 talents too. So she can now capitalize on Monster Hunter. And you know what? That might actually win them the Immortal. With Vala now being able to do some work here, this might really help them. As he's trying to work those in, but they're targeting her specifically now and take her down for that very reason, as Alarak wants to get the objective for them. Here is jumping out, a little bit of an assist from Garrosh on the way. And as they're all collapsing on the Immortal, it is a win for the red team. Very close call, and only by the smallest of margins. 800 hit points on that shield, but hey, win is a win, and they got 6 kills to 0. Alarak also with another few hits here. They try to go for Uki. Stormbolt connects. Muradin, and he gets lasered. So off we go. Ultralisk gets the quick kill, and that is a big one right there. So with that, we have... my god, like what the hell? Thrall gets completely destroyed and loses the stacks on his level 4. Alarak is now sitting at 15 stacks. He's currently only at 7,400 damage, but I can tell you already, this is going to increase a lot if he keeps this up. They got level 10. I mean, what is this slaughter over here? They're going through Team Sven like hot butter through cheese. The blue team is Heroes of the Storm whack-a-mole. Every time that the blue team pops their head out, they're just getting murdered and destroyed. We have the entire knockback situation with Ultralisk, and also the silent that gets applied. Vala is desperately trying to stack here and attempts to prevent herself from dying, but there's still a level until heroic abilities are finally ready for Team Sven. And talking about Team Sven, Sven himself gets followed, and yeah, okay, Garrosh doesn't get close enough. That would have been the cherry on top of the cake if they would have been able to take him down too. Bit of a keg play on this point. We got Decimate, by the way, and for Alarak we got the Counter-Strike as they're now moving in for the next play. And they're getting another kill. Samuro is gone. Vala is gone. Uther gets attacked. Banana Age. I mean, honestly, at this point, this is just a full-on disaster. I mean, stop, please. They're dead already. Like, wow. Total killing spree that we have here. I mean, there's a crime in progress, and somebody has to call the care police, because this is brutal. Team Sven has kind of given up right now. They have a couple of decisions to make maybe throughout the game, and the one thing that's probably being discussed the most in voice at this point is if they are writing GG in caps lock or not. But if there was a surrender button in the game, they would have pressed it already. Like, 11 kills to 0. Now that we are on level 10, now they can maybe start a bit of a comeback, but oh my god, are they getting just murdered. To give them... the silver lining is now they have level 10. One of the reasons why they got wrecked so hard the entire time, or the last 2 minutes at least, is that the opponent already had a level 10 ability and they didn't. Now that they have heroics, they will still have to bridge that gap, and they will likely run into talent advantages on the red team side. But now you have at least a fighting chance. So, there's a chance now. Might not be a big one, but it's there. So we'll see if they can now get some kills, because they will have to do something. So Sven is already getting attacked. Second objective is up. Vala is pushing at the bottom of the map a little bit. Sylvanas, I mean. The other girl with the hoodie. And we still have that camp down there. So Samuro is now making his way over to defend it. But if left to her own devices, Sylvanas is going to push that. It's not followed, so Sylvanas will have to jump back out. But they're now trying to go for the objective again. 19 stacks for Alarak, who now also has pure malice. Okay, sits at 114 sadism, by the way. Ultra is getting attacked here. So far, so good for him. Yeah, he gets a few more hits in. Alright, another stack for him too. Thrall still working on that level 4 quest. Gets followed and nearly locked down, but is able to survive and escape. The problem is, Uther is not going to be that lucky. Banana H. Yeah, he can try and run, but Uther is also not really the fastest here. So Uther is already down and will ghost around a bit. They're trying to get the kill on Death Knight, and he somehow makes it. Death Knight still alive. Sven gets attacked now too, and gets killed. Samuro is dead. They are totally falling apart here. 22,000 damage for Vala. She's top damage in the game, which is actually kind of amusing. Alarak has started to catch up a little bit with the rest of the damage dealers on his own team, but it is still Sylvanas and Chen that have surpassed him. But they are just murdering this. I mean, with 13 kills to 0, you definitely know how the teamfights are going in this game so far. So that's a 2-level advantage that they're still holding on to. And this Immortal will be stronger. Halftime show is already there. Unless we see something insane happen on the second half of that objective fight, the red team should walk away with a pretty significant lead on this. 6,000 damage from Uther. Deckard Kane, the old geezer with a stick. The old boomer is now sitting at 6,500. Yeah, Garrosh, he's totally fine. Thrall hiding in the side a little bit, waiting for maybe the perfect Sundering. I'm not quite sure if that's ever going to happen, but maybe they have a shot. Nope. Objective is taken. That's a big shield as already expected. Avatar to be used. As they're starting to move away with Muradin. The Globe's already locked in. This is a push through the bot lane that the red team is now preparing for. The main reason why Ultralis can't stack his level 4 more is that the opponent is always dead. So not a lot of opportunities to get those stacks going. But he has a sadism up. At least say that for him. And is also working a few more attacks in as Sylvanas is pushing the top lane again. So it's a multi-pronged attack that they're setting up right now. With play a little bit low. They're trying to go for Garrosh. Nice Sundering. The old man. Stay a while. And get wrecked. But we also got Chen trying to create some space for them. And Sylvanas is now coming down here to try and help out. The Divine Shield is already on Thrall. Yeah, they go again in with the silence, and Sven gets crushed. They are really dealing well with Samuro, I gotta say. Sven is really good on that hero, and normally has a massive impact in those games, but they have been playing him like a fiddle the entire time. He comes in, gets silenced, has no chance of moving out, gets killed. Now they go for Uther again. Bye-bye Banana. We have Thrall destroyed, and that's a keep. We're now 12 minutes into the game, and it's a keep, and it might be more. They might go for the lead in the best of 5 series here. 120 sadism, that's the end of Muradin as Alarak comes in with another hit. He is now at 28 stacks, 17 kills to 0. And they are turning game number 3 in an absolute quick match, honestly. I mean, this is kind of crazy. They make this look like a puppy stomp. Samuro comes, he dies again, so he spends more time in the Nexus than actually on the map. And that's a win. That's a 2-1 lead right now for Team Hlopaka as they absolutely demolish Team Sven. GG and well played. Game number 4, Sky Temple. Alrighty, so we have Team Hlopaka in the lead. It's match point for them. And, of course, as we're heading into our draft, we also have to continue our WASP discussion a little bit. By the way, for the person that is now listening to this on YouTube and it gets immediately annoyed and it's like, focus on the game. My channel, my rules, screw you, go. If you don't like it, that's what we do sometimes. If you cast thousands and thousands of games of Heroes of the Storm every now and then when you're sitting in the draft and no heroes have even been chosen yet, you gotta spice it up a little bit. And this is a topic dear to my heart. Somebody said, without wasps, we don't have figs. And you know what? I'm okay with it. If that is the price that I have to pay, I'm happy to pay it. If this is the only thing, then get rid of all of the wasps. I will never eat a fig again in my life if that is the price that we have to pay in order to get rid of all the wasps. Totally okay with that. I swear to God, if I made an international poll what people want more, we would get rid of wasps like this. That's a sacrifice everybody is willing to make. And now that we're in Sky Temple, apparently the Vikings get also sacrificed on the off chance, well, on the chance that Sven picks them. Which is a bit of a sad moment. Every single time I see Vikings banned, it is sad. It's very annoying. I'm coming back to my point, by the way, that I made a second ago, because I already replied to that in the comment section on YouTube a couple of times. But there's always people coming in, and they're like looking at an arrow cam that I have, or like some joke that I make, and they're coming in and it's like, you need to be more professional. This is why the reason. Guys, my private channel, if we are on a professional tournament where I get hired as a commentator, that's a different story. But if I host like 95% of the tournaments after HGC gets killed, and cast game after game after game, and at some point I decided I want to talk about ice cream, I'm gonna fucking talk about ice cream. And you will just have to deal with this. So that's what it is. Those rants are part of the menu. And once that we're going to the glory days, the days of milk and honey, where Blizzard rediscovers their passion for Heroes of the Storm, and starts to host some kind of professional league again, they can hire me all the way and tell me what to talk about and what not to talk about, and I'm going to be happy about it. But until then, if I want to talk about ice cream or wasps, I'm going to talk about ice cream or wasps. And I'm still going to catch most of the action. So, yeah, there you go. And if you don't like that, tough life. Dehaka and Blaze. That's a problem when you don't have any ban rules, by the way. We are basically circling around Blaze and Hlopaka in essentially every single game right now. We have a couple of maps where it's not really happening. For example, if we're going to Infernal Shrines, where you get also a bit of Leoric and other stuff. But we get Greymane and we get Brightwing. Brightwing with the Wasp skin would probably make me quit the game. That would probably be the moment where I'm just like, okay, this is the last straw. The camel's back just broke. The camel died. No. Oh, we get Rhaegar again for them. But why are you banning Abathur? What's wrong with you? First Vikings get banned, then Abathur gets banned. I don't care if they can play him and if they get the copy on Greymane. I don't care if it's a good ban. You don't ban Abathur. The king, when the king gets picked, you accept it. Where's your respect? No respect. Too much respect for the slug. That way it gets banned. These guys hate fun. You picked the map. You can't ban the slug here. Highly disappointing. Medivh gets banned. Okay. And, well, for Team Sven, there's obviously a lot on the line. They need to win this one in order to try and force game number 5. Because if they lose, yeah, they're out. We're in the losers bracket. This is the game that decides who goes up against, I think it was Disciples team that is in the next round, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check real quickly. Yep, so Team Disciple is going to be the next opponent of whoever wins it here. Muradin and Gul'dan. I have Muradin Stormbolt, Blaze follow up with the Jet Propulsion. What is Ultralus gonna pick? I wouldn't mind seeing some Ultralus Kerrigan, by the way, today. Don't think that's a pick for Sky Temple for him with the comp that they're playing. I mean, you could, but don't think that's happening. But maybe if we get to him with the Spider Queen later, that would be kind of fun. Alright, we're getting Kerrigan. Yep, there we go. They go for Kerrigan after all, and we get Mal'Ganis together with it. So, Kerrigan, Mal'Ganis, lots of CC now with Dehaka, Brightwing. Oh, that's gonna be nice. And on the left side for the blue team, the final pick. What are we gonna get here? Azzy. What is he going to lock in now? They still need a bit more damage. Gul'dan alone is not going to cut it here. Melee is fine. More likely range damage, and they add the global so they can mirror the Haka. It's false stat. Match point, ladies and gentlemen, for Team Hlopaka as we're heading into game number 4, Sky Temple. So, for Team Sven, there's a lot on the line here. Can they force another draw and bring us to game number 5? That's the big question. We got Sven on Blaze. We got Azzy on Falstad right now. Uki is playing Muradin. We got Sesabos on Gul'dan. And Banana H is playing Rega. On the right side of the map, Team Hlopaka with a chance to end the series. We got Death Knight playing Brightwing. Herath on the Haka. Ultralist is playing Karrigan. We got Hlopaka on Greymane. And Play is playing Mal'Ganis. So, the Karrigan combo is obviously dangerous. That is a very, very aggressive and annoying CC chain that can hit you absolutely hard if you are not careful. And, yeah, we'll see what they are going to do against that. Because you have Rega at least, that gives you the cleanse, but just... Ooh, Sesabos! Nope, that's a kill. That is not a good start. You're immediately losing one of your heroes right there. And, yeah, a little bit of a drama at this point. But, okay. Alright. Another topic, by the way, as we're having another chase coming up. So I'm flying to Germany tomorrow. When the games come, and also like visit some family. And as usual, the airline is again sending, like I have only carry-on luggage, so that's all. And the airline again says like, hey, free of charge, you can now check in your carry-on luggage. Why the hell would I do that? Why the hell would anybody check in their carry-on luggage? You take carry-on luggage because you do not want to check in. You don't want to go through that stupid trouble of having to check it in before the flight. You don't want to sit there and wait when the flight lands until they finally have everything ready. So they're trying to make this sound like a positive. It's free of charge, a service from us to you. And it's like, no, this is a positive. Carry-on luggage is a positive. It's nice. It's convenient. And they're always trying to make it sound like they're doing you a favor. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's already ridiculous enough that they're like, getting completely Nazi these days on the size of the carry-on luggage in the first place. I mean, they are getting completely bonkers on that stuff. I mean, I'm happy because mine is properly sized and I never had any problems with that. But you hear so many stories right now where they're just going ham on them and just don't let people travel with luggage. It's absolutely crazy. Airlines are starting to lose their mind a little bit. There was this one thing, I mean, Ryanair is obviously an extremely cheap airline, but the thing, oh, Sesabos, talking about cheap, that's a cheap kill right there. Maybe not. Counter kill, Gul'dan, and he's gone. Ryanair is, for example, a budget airline, right? When I fly with a budget airline, what do I expect? I expect the ticket to be cheap. That's it. People that go to a budget airline and then they expect like fantastic in-flight entertainment or fantastic meals and services, they're just not right in the head. If you pay $20, $50 or euros or whatever for a ticket, then that's what you get. You want a cheap flight and that's it. Then expecting anything else, you're just a little bit of crazy. Like, that makes you an elf, an entitled little fucker. But what we also now have, like, I, for example, flew the other day. I decided that I would fly to Germany, not with Ryanair, and take the super cheap flight, but instead go for Lufthansa, because Ryanair had a couple of delays on their flights, and I was like, okay, let's go for Lufthansa instead. They're not any better these days. They're 2 times, 3 times the price. They got delayed as well. And honestly, most of the people there were even less friendly than the Ryanair people. It's like airlines have lost their mind these days. It's just like we make everything more expensive and then offer you less than before, and then we're also unfriendly to you. It's just like, the hell is wrong with you? And especially some of the established airlines, they think like, ooh, we are so much better than the budget airlines. And it's like, yeah, I'm willing to pay you a bit more if you're actually better, but you're not. Polstad Airlines, on the other hand, that's an airline that I can totally get behind with. They are a little bit fragile, though, so you got to be careful when you're trying to fly with them, because it could be that Karrigan comes in and just takes you down. But yeah, so Blaze at the top with the first objective now being up. 2 kills, the only 2 kills against Gul'dan. I mean, honestly, outside of Gul'dan getting killed, not really a whole lot going on here. We have a couple of traps set, but even that is obviously not great for the blue team. So, there's that. False stats. They try to go for Kerrigan, and Ultralisk is... They're about to die. He's gone. Yeah, wanted to kill a little bit too much, and then he became the target. Trying to get away with the Hlopaka, and he was able to dodge the Stormbolt, and that will allow him to easily get away on this one. All the way up at the top, Blaze, I mean, I guess he missed the jet propulsion and ended all of a sudden up on the other side of that fort. Or how did that happen? Sven is now trying to escape down to the bottom and is probably going to make it, because everybody else is pushing at the bottom of the map, and they're really trying to take that fort out. And honestly, they are not doing too badly here. By now, the blue team has taken over the experience lead. They've also reduced 2 of the forts to 50% of their HP. And it's not too bad for them if they can get another kill here, but... Uh-oh. Okay, yeah, he's gone. Muradin is dead. Budget Gimli gets eliminated. Yeah, and Play made it out with less than 30 hit points. As Kerrigan focuses on the camp, but they're still hoping to maybe get a lick here with Yerath, and yeah, they just couldn't. So down at the bottom of the map, we still have that fort standing, but the wall is completely gone, and the fort itself is at 50% of its HP. So structurally, when it comes to just the objective and the general position on the map, the blue team has now taken a significant lead, but they have, thanks to the kill against Muradin, fallen a bit farther behind in XP, which means that we have an early level 10 for Team Hlopaka. The window not really useful or anything, but by now we have Horrify, for example, for Gul'dan, and that's going to be a big one. Horrify and also Gust will be 2 big tools that during the fights we have to really keep an eye on. By the way, here for the boss battle itself, it can also be a chance to really get a big lead on the objective if you are able to utilize those 2. Fort is already gone now. With a Horrify and with Gus, you can control the boss point fairly well. If you, but it's obviously something that the red team knows, so they're going to try and play around it. But just saying that there's a couple of very nice tools in the arsenal of the blue team that they can use if it comes to a boss battle at any point. So down at the bottom of the map, that's where we're now having the first channel happening. Is a single temple this time, and the red team gets the lead, so they can at least take that wall out. But we can only assume that the blue team is going to make a move for it. And the Hlopaka is already moving away for that very reason. Gets Playmakers and is going to get killed. Yep. That is Herath gone. And I think, did Brightwing for just a second say like, hey, I'm going to come in and help you out, and they decided to let the Hlopaka die instead? Seems to be the case. Then instead we have now Greymane at the top, and he is going to take this out with ease. So they're at least getting some counter pressure, but now we have also the move for the boss, and this is exactly for the reasons that I pointed out earlier. They're trying to go for Gul'dan. Horrify is in. Gul'dan gone. The boss low. Greymane arriving. Brightwing helping out. This is backfiring on Team Sven massively. This is massively backfiring right now. But they got the boss somehow. They got the boss, and they didn't even use the Gust. So they were able to get that. They lost Blaze, but honestly, this should have been worse for them than it was. The topside fort has not been destroyed. Now Greymane should really try to also take some structures out, as they're teeing up a potential kill on Banana Age, but nobody was in range to help out Mal'Ganis. But yeah, they got kills. The boss was still claimed, and Kerrigan is now defeating it. But with 2 heroes already dead at that moment in time, they should have been able to play around the remaining tools that Team Sven had and steal that boss too. So, yeah. Still, structurally, the blue team might be ahead, but they're falling behind on all other accounts. But just having eliminated all of the forts with the exception of the one in the top lane is already a W for them. So it is going to come down to, let's say, Greymane again to try and get the damage connected. By now we have 6 kills, 2-2. We also have a kill on Muradin once more. Yeah, him going for Haymaker gave them more utility, also in some of the fights at the bottom of the map, of course, and around these boss plays. But at the same time, if you don't have Avatar, you become a much bigger target for the opponent's killer comp. And that's what we're getting here. We're also getting the first fort now destroyed up at the top, so finally we're able to make a move for it. as Greymane is destroying the camp that's traveled through the top of the map. 7 kills to 2 now in total. There's also still the Hlopaka up, so that's another one as well. And while Falstad is maybe trying to start with the Siege Giants over on the right side, we have the Temple activating at the top and Brightwing starting to take control of it. That eliminates the fort in the middle of the map fairly quickly, but we still have the one at the bot lane. The Siege Giants are also up, and they are now both making a move on it. Play gets gusted, nice! And Brightwing comes in to the rescue, but the Horrify leads to a kill on Brightwing. The problem is that Falstad also got caught, so that's the Fruit Fly gone and the chicken got eliminated too. Half a level until 16. This is going to damage the top side wall. Temple at the top. There's still a few shots to be left that they can claim. And down at the bottom of the map, Greymane is now taking over. So they are negating that advantage that Team Sven has established in the earlier stages of the game on structures and are trying to turn that fully around. The Hlopaka soaked another few shots, but has now to retreat because the rest of the blue team is moving in. But at the bottom of the map, of course, they fully gave this one up. And now both of the teams are without a fort anymore. So it's all about the keeps from here on out. Rhaegar the only one up at the top. And level 16 in just a few moments for Team Hlopaka, and this is what they're going to try and make their play with. If they can force a fight around level 16 talents, that would be great for them. Play is still holding the line at the bottom of the map. The wall here mostly destroyed. And Kerrigan is already looking for another opportunity to go for a combo and get that full stun lock going. With hopefully, of course, follow-ups from the Hlopaka, Brightwing, and then the damage from Greymane. But the Hlopaka, talking about him, gets caught out a bit. Here it is down to 50% of its HP. Mal'Ganis sitting at the side here, hoping for some weary travelers as he halves back for mana and hit points. But this could flip. There is a level 16 talent now also for Team Sven though. And we have a full build into the Fell Flame here with Rampant Hellfire. Clawing this one out. Checking the bushes the entire time. Uki present. Still a minute until the boss is back though. So you don't have to worry about that too much. And with that, here comes the attack again for Play, but Mal'Ganis is not the only one. Mal'Ganis is a bit alone here, gets Horrified again, but fine. That problem is that Horrify is now on cooldown, and they could chase him here. Without Horrify in the mix, and with Gus gone too, there's a lot of the tools that they really want and need gone. Play is about to die though, went a bit too deep, but they got them in the corner. If they can get a kill here, they can really start to snowball that fight a bit. They're all a bit low, but in a 4 versus 5, they have to retreat here. Mal'Ganis is just too aggressive. If he doesn't die this quickly, I think they have an amazing fight on their hands. Now they have to be afraid of losing other heroes as they're attempting to get away. And Hirath gets a lick, but likely he is going to get destroyed. The Stormbolt connects, and even with the essence being used, that's now the Hlopaka taken down as well. And that will be a problem, because now we have the next temple spawning. That should be a full control by Team Sven. So the blue team can start to heavily catch up, and to make matters worse, there's a boss up that they can also play for. And I think this is exactly what we're going to see from them. Red team was ahead, and they kind of wasted the advantage that they maintained. So we might go to game number 5. I mean, we're far from the blue team winning this, so please don't get me wrong. But it's looking better than it did at any previous point. Once again, here comes the Stormbolt. We go for Hlopaka. Yeah, boss has been taken already. Can they win the fight? They kind of have to if they want to do well here. That's the Horrify. And the Chrysalis gets used from Kerrigan. Nice. But they also want those Siege Giants from the looks of it. So they're not going to be able to grab them. But the boss is moving through the bot lane and will be dealt with by Greymane apparently. The temple at the top has not been captured yet. So while the blue team was able to get themselves a boss, they were not able to get the top side temple. None of the shots are fired here. And I don't think that the boss is actually going to be able to do too much. It's going to damage the keep a little bit. But if we're going to see the red team get at least some of the control at the top, they should still be fine here. So right now, both teams are playing for level 20 talents. Greymane is again defending the bot lane as best as he can. And is doing pretty okay. That's 50%, not even from the hit points gone. But it's now about how they can play out the remaining shots at the top. If they're going to make a move for it or not. Because they got to do something. If not, they are likely going to lose the keep at the top. And maybe even more. So they have to make a play here. Blaze is still sitting on the temple. There's the drag on Muradin. Poli as a follow-up. Big damage, silence, there's the Ancestral, but now Rhaegar becomes the target. They can go for the fight here. Blaze abandoned the temple to help the teammates out, and Kerrigan is about to take over. We still have some Siege Giants traveling at the bottom of the map too, though, which means that still the bot lane keep is in danger, or will be. But Kerrigan soaks a few more shots and gets some damage in against the top side keep. But as already mentioned, the structure lead still goes to the blue team. So still anyone's game to take. It's not like Team Hlopaka has lost this one. But we have a lead now for Team Sven. Not in experience, but in structures. And structures give users so much more tactical options later on in the game. So, Ultralisk, yeah, starting to move around. And I have to go to the door because Amazon is kicking in.
Right, I'm back. Okay, so 20 versus 20 now. Yeah, my weights for my gym setup has now been delivered. And unfortunately, it wasn't faster because the guy had problems opening the door of his van. But yeah. Yeah, Amazon rescheduled delivering this package like 3 times. On the one hand, I'm happy that they delivered it at least before I leave, but for Germany. But the timing was obviously not great. Don't think we missed a lot though. Both on 20, no keeps have been destroyed. So Hlopaka at this point gets attacked. Ooh, banana. Yeah, there's the Ancestral, and that was a very early cooldown that they had to waste there. Very early in the fight too. Double temple up, so yeah, comes down to the wire here. Once again, by the way, the Gilnean roulette. So that's always a nice one. The cooldown basically turns it into a normal ability with an enormous amount of damage, but the cooldown is just absolutely incredible. If you can fire that away during the team fights a couple of times, you're getting big numbers for them. So right now we got 40,000 damage for Greymane and 39,000 for Gul'dan. I'll have to make that second. I'll recast the second part, so yeah. Deliver on a Sunday. I think they make up for Friday because Friday was a holiday, but I was shocked by it too. Normally they don't deliver on Sunday, so this is a bit of an exception. But again, I'm kind of happy with it because at 3 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning I have to go to the airport, so it would have been a bit annoying. They rescheduled us 3 times. It was supposed to arrive a couple of days ago already. Ooh, Sven. Yeah, there's the Gust. Play, tease them up though. Is the rest of the team following? Carrying is coming from the top. Right wing with the help. Playmaker used to the lick, and that's the end of Mirrodin. Nice. Mirrodin is gone, and now they got the chance to go for also Gul'dan. Yeah, he's gonna try and hide here, but that's not happening. So now they can go for the boss. There's a double temple up and the boss, and this could be game. This could absolutely be game here. So right now, Hirath still, yeah, well, they try to go for the temple and get some shots fired. The problem is they can only control the middle temple, and the mid lane is the one keep that is still standing with full HP and a wall in front of it. And since they're now taking the boss and get the shots at the bottom of the map, they're prepping this more because they're obviously going to try and end with this right now. They're not going to try to just simply go for a keep and that's it. They're going to try to end it right here. So Mal'Ganis, I would have liked for him to maybe get even a few more shots through, but the team is already moving in with the minion wave, so he doesn't really have to. Once that the fort or the keep is gone, the shots will target the middle, obviously, and that doesn't really do anything for you anymore. We have 14 seconds until Gul'dan is back. That boss is already on his way here, and that's where Greymane really excels right now. He's gonna get his damage spiking, because he's now in a spot where he can just YOLO his ability out over and over and over again. It's a perfect situation for him to take advantage of the level 20 talent. And that should be game. Right now we got 10 kills to 5. Horrify got used. Falstad is dead. The core is slowly falling. And, well, the boss alone is already going to end this. So this is it. Team Hlopaka advances and Team Sven drops out of the tournament. GG.